Forgive me, Father, for I have sinned.
Go on, my child. What sins trouble you? For the past couple months, I've been constantly tempted between relationships. My mind tries to focus on one, but... yes. Relationships can test even the holiest of men. Care to tell me more? Well, first it was Japanese.
Wait, what?
And we've been going steady for 6 months now, but part of me has constantly been eyeing at French and its accent. My son, are you trying to tell me that you've been cheating on Japanese with French? And there's also Spanish. Languages. The mouth sounds and random scribbles that allow us to understand each other. Perhaps you may have been pestered to learn a language at school, or because of your family, or are even in the middle of learning one right now. I too have set out in this venture, though in quite the unusual path. A path that has stripped me of both my sanity and common sense. Quick disclaimer, this is not supposed to be an instructional video. This is purely a recollection of the insanity I put myself through when learning languages. And if anyone watching wishes to tread the same path as I wish you the best of luck. The start of my language learning journey was in the middle of sophomore year, a time where I was trying to get my life together in contrast to the mundane and depressing existence I had before. I started scheduling my day, and I noticed that I had quite a decent bit of free time. I didn't quite care about school at the moment, so I had to find an interesting way to spend it. Learning a language, I thought, would be pretty fun. I had a Filipino family, so I could have either learned Tagalog or Chavacano, or maybe even Spanish since I lived in America. Out of all of these options, which did I pick? That's right, I picked Japanese, the most impractical and least useful option I could have done. Why did I pick it? Because I liked anime in Japan. I kid you not, that is the only reason why I learned Japanese. If I'm being honest, learning Japanese, or any language for that matter, is actually a really good excuse to slack off. In language learning, there's the concept of immersion, where you simply watch content in the target language without any English. So whenever I got back from a long day of school, I was able to watch anime or videos as a break without feeling like I was wasting time. Of course, with any good relationship, we did have some issues. Firstly, in order to move forward with anything, I had to at least learn hiragana. Japanese is also very annoying with its kanji, which I learned the hard way. What does this mean? That means to return, right? No, it actually means to change. What does this mean? That means to change, right? No, it actually means to return. Why does this happen? What I left out was the kanji for each of these. Before, I tried to understand purely based on hiragana and katakana, ignoring the kanji so I wouldn't get slowed down by it. But now that I'm coming across different words that sounded the same, I had to evolve. To those of you who are saying, oh, but it can't be that hard, English words also change on spelling. Wait till you realize there are thousands of kanji that I need to know. Which leads to my next problem. Here is this character, and it makes the sound he. Can you guess how this word is spelled? That's right, it's spelled like kyo. Why does this happen? This character, as well as every other kanji that ever exists, are known as logograms, which means instead of representing a sound, like how hiragana or katakana do, they represent a subject. In this case, it represents the sun or day. When it makes the sound he, that's how it sounds by itself, but it changes depending on the word it's in. So in order to learn a word, I had to 1. Know the kanji behind the word, or at least be able to differentiate the kanji between other words. 2. Be able to correctly read the word and how it sounds. And 3. Know the meaning. It's quite a redundant process. Before I talk about French, I need to lay out a vital detail for all of this to make some sense. I am an avid ASMR roleplay enjoyer. While I was still only 2 months in learning Japanese, I stumbled upon a video featuring a French exchange student, and I came to this conclusion. Wow! French sounds rather cute and funny! That's right, my entire obsession for French boils down to me being fond of a prissy little accent of some random girl on the internet. However, there posed a problem. I was still only 2 months into Japanese, so I didn't even have a firm foundation yet. I also did not know how to balance 2 languages. What I know now is that it's best practice to grow one and maintain the other. Did I do that? Of course not! I decided to move forward with both at the same intensity. Big mistake. I lost time, and my grammar with both languages started to get mixed up somehow. I had to make the hard decision to let go of French, a heartbreak which still impacts me to this day. After 6 months of learning Japanese, I also decided to pick up Spanish, for both good and bad reasons. Remember how my family speaks Chavacano? That's actually a Spanish-based Creole, which simply means it's Spanish but weirder. When I told one of my family members that I planned to learn either Tagalog or Chavacano, they said to learn Spanish instead, since that will help with Chavacano and also be more useful overall. Not only that, but Spanish has significantly more resources than either of the two. Those were the good reasons, but if you caught on to the theme of this video, those reasons weren't remotely the main motivators behind my decision. Now, among a lot of the dumb reasons, the one that sealed the deal was this thing. For those of you who don't know, this is Don Quixote, a character from Limbus Company. And I know you might be thinking, wait, don't they speak Korean? Well, Limbus is based on literature, and if you take a look at Don's source, she, or rather he in the book, speaks Spanish. Therefore, it is the natural step for me to also learn Spanish. However, even with Spanish, a language that should have had a relatively straightforward process, my brain still decides to complicate things. Enter Latin American Spanish. For the most part, I gravitated towards Spain Spanish, and for obvious reasons. Don Quixote speaks Spain Spanish, and since I was trying to get over my crush for French, a European variant would have suited my liking better. The problem came in when I actually listened to Latin American Spanish for a bit. Wait, no. This is Spain.
¿Está fría?
This is Mexican.
O tibia.
No, wait, not Latin American.
Y la forma de la oreja.
No, it can't be. No.
I actually quite liked how Latin American Spanish sounded, but I was still very motivated because of Spain Spanish, leaving me very conflicted between the two. I eventually made the compromise of liking both, but the amount of mental gymnastics I had to do to get to that conclusion was excruciating. Moreover, I'm still very fond of French. In fact, I'm even listening to the infectious French Onion song whilst I'm writing this script. I catch myself listening to French covers for songs, wanting to see how French dubbing would be like, and even asking someone to buy a book for me in French. I plan on learning French eventually, but it sucks because I need to focus on Spanish right now. Honestly, Spanish seems like a rebound for French. It's to the point where I want to get good at Spanish just so I can finally move on to French. And that, father, is where I am now. What do you think? My son, I think you need a therapist. If you are to take anything away from this video, I hope it's the knowledge that you don't need the best or most logical reasons to start learning a language. In fact, it is oftentimes the silly reasons that may end up motivating you the most. I'm still only 7 months in, and nowhere near fluency in any of these. Perhaps I'll make an update, but until then, farewell.